Hello Internet, I'm the Disney Brain, and lots to talk about today in terms of Ranger shenanigans. I wanted to give my thoughts on Beast Morphers being back and the big Hasbro Toy Fair announcements, so why not do all of that at the same time? And with that said, let's discuss episode 1 of not Super Beast Morphers, believe it or not. This initial 22 minutes of season 2 thankfully brings back a lot of the elements I really enjoyed from season 1. Regular Blaze is back, and he's really just a different kind of hilarious goofball, which will ideally make the inevitable Blaze v Blaze face-off a joy to watch. And that's actually a key thing, I think. I don't know if this season will do much with developing how either of these two felt about being comatose, and then having their likeness being used to commit crimes. But I think it would be kind of fun if they played around with that and what it meant for the pair. Especially since Ravi went through some hilariously odd, but still very much there, emotional turmoil over the whole thing. It'd be interesting to see if this show has enough space to really showcase them as much more than who their avatars were. The rumors that have circulated over the past few months suggest something very different, but that sort of arc could be a neat build-up to the both of them becoming actual Rangers, and in doing so, finally fulfilling the duty they legitimately earned pre-Evox hijack, and then in doing that, finally having the power to rid themselves of their lesser halves forever. As opposed to maybe going into the everything is hunky-dory thing a little too soon here, with Blaze and Devin being friends now, allegedly. I'm really not sure what we're supposed to take from that. But even if they end up as fairly superfluous, we'll still eventually get their evil counterparts back anyway, which was honestly the most exciting thing about the most recent Season 2 trailer. I mentioned in my Season 1 breakdown that this pair, and really most of the villains here, grew on me more and more as time went on. They're crafty, they're hammy, and they give the show a life a lot of recent ones wish they could have. It serves as one of many examples as to why I tend to prefer actual people doing the villainizing and not suit actors as much. There's just this tangibility to the way Roxy plays with her food, so to speak, that you just can't get with Bugmen, for example. So I assume, just like Season 2 so far, that they'll pick up right where they left off and be a great time all over again. Digging a bit deeper into the episode itself gives us a fun bit of continued dramatic irony with how Evox and the ever-fabulous Scrozzle are operating. Based on the trailer, we're bound to get plenty of Evox joining in on the fun-loving side of villainy, but I appreciated the restraint here and keeping the finer details thereof mostly under wraps for now. And just how brilliant it was for Evox to even be using Mayor Daniels as a clean-in to the city's Morph X supply in the first place. One of the knocks against the mayor, a knock I've made of course, is that his position of authority was never used in interesting ways beyond Token Estranged Dad plotline. A plotline that I felt checked a box more than anything else, but your mileage might vary on that. But continuing on from the clever ways the villains kept nabbing smaller victories in Season 1, Season 2 flat out has Evox controlling the entire city, and on top of that, seemingly doing just enough actual mayoring in the backdrop that even Devin himself isn't at all suspicious. But you know who is? The reigning character champion of the Hasbro era so far. He's back and somehow even better than before. What more can I say about the beauty that is Steel that Steel himself can't say by way of the episode proper? The only tragic part here is that we might only get him for what remains of Beast Morphers. I don't know if the way things are shaping up here is coincidence or just Hasbro smartly predicting and sticking with what they know has worked, but either way, I am here for it. Because with episode 1 being anchored by Steel just doing whatever the hell he wants to do, and with these two likely coming back sooner rather than later, even without the crossovers, which seemed like an exciting time, make no mistake, Season 2 would still be in a pretty good place. But icing on the cake is icing on the cake, so you won't find me whining about getting Jason, Tyler, and Coda back, among others. Maybe they're keeping a lot of details under wraps with this one, but no Kendall kind of stings a bit, not gonna lie. So in short, Believe It or Not comes at us with everything I and many others already loved about Beast Morphers, alongside the promise of much more neat stuff in the pipes. It's hard to say at this juncture if Season 2 will feel more like Hasbro and less like Neo Saban, but we'll see how things play out. And speaking of Hasbro, they announced something else at Toy Fair. Something that has set the fandom ablaze, for some reason. Look, let me be crystal clear about this, even though it feels weird that I even have to be. It's okay to feel a little disappointed. I'm certainly not going to pretend that I didn't want to go back to space. It's space. I freaking love space. And of course, it's more than okay to feel thrilled too. Ryusoulger looks fantastic. It's brimming with potential for an adaptation and has a lot of fans in spite of itself at times. The point being, everyone has a different read and that's okay. But like, real talk, if you're among the handful actively crying about this, or among the folks telling others to suck it because you got the adaptation you wanted, you are part of the problem. Please reconsider your jarringly disproportionate emotional investment. It's still Hasbro. Whatever quality of season we're gonna get would be the case regardless of motif. And speaking of that brimming potential, I see a Ryusoulger adaptation potentially utilizing knighthood in ways the wonderful Ivan of Xandar only teased at. And with Hasbro possibly looking to capitalize on the world-building aspect of the franchise, starting where things started makes some sense. And the business sense of this move could end up working out even better, because of how top to bottom great the toy line is going to look. I'm not even a big toy guy myself, it's just nice that everyone who genuinely loves these Zords will soon be able to more easily access them. Also, there is almost no chance they'll adapt any of the issues I have with the horrifyingly tone-deaf way they handled Yui as a character, so it'll probably be the better of the two Dino Knight seasons by default, even if literally nothing else changed. Conversely, you know that wacky Weisel fellow? He'll almost certainly have a Western counterpart, meaning the mad lads that gave us these hucksters get to do whatever they want with this guy, and I sincerely hope they do. So yeah, all this to say, I'm very much looking forward to what the first fully Hasbro season will look like, and if what we end up with is essentially Avalon High but with Morphers, I would not be at all displeased, especially since they could always save Q Ranger for the big 30th coming up, and a big blowout anniversary that would almost by design need to feature a bunch of major Ranger planets would literally be Christmas 3 times over for me. Like, it would almost be too much if they went all in, like getting so many presents that you kind of feel guilty so you give some away, start volunteering in your community, maybe teach kids in Africa, I don't know. But regardless, let me know what you guys think about all the big news down below. And speaking of dinosaurs, guys, the wait is nearly over. The Dino Charge review is finally coming. Not immediately, and not necessarily soon-ish, but it is finally happening. And until then, thanks for watching.